Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to the Car and Driving live stream. The theme of tonight is me. Quite a lot of people have asked about my kind of life journey in cars. So I thought for this episode, I'd share a bit about how I came to be editor-in-chief of Car and Driving and how I started out. Hopefully it will encourage young aspiring motoring journalists who perhaps were like me 40 years ago. So as you probably know, if you're a loyal follower of the channel, we test quite a lot of cars. We test not just cars, but pickups and vans as well. We do about 100 vehicles a year, which means that I change my car roughly every 3 days or so. And we film at least 2 vehicles every week, sometimes 3. I started off doing this back in the late 80s when I set out and I wanted to be a motoring journalist. And I thought, well, I'll phone up all the car magazines I can think of and see if I can get someone to employ me or at least give me some sort of office job. And I got a fat 0. Nobody wanted to know. So I had a bit of a rethink of how am I going to get started in this business. One day I went to the dentist and I was sitting in the waiting room and I looked at the pile of magazines there, and there was one of those kind of in-flight magazines, you know, that you get pushed into the back of airline seat back pockets. And I picked that up and I thought, oh, they don't have a motoring column, I'll do that. So I phoned them up. It was the British Caledonian in-flight magazine, if any of you remember that old British airline. And I phoned them up and I said, would you like a motoring correspondent? And they said, no. So I put the phone down and I thought, right, what shall I do? So I phoned them back up and I said, if I could get you a page of advertising, would you run one of my stories? So they said, yes, come back when you got it. So me and my kind of naivety back then, I thought, oh, well, I'll phone up a car magazine and see if I can get them to advertise. So I phoned up what was then Rover Cars in Longbridge, and or Cowley it was, and it was lunchtime, and for some reason my call went straight through to the marketing director. His secretary was out at lunch. So I said, I'm representing this airline magazine, and you're just launching a car in America. Why don't you advertise in it? And to my surprise, he said yes. So the magazine ran the article, and I got as many copies as I could, and I sent it to every car maker I could think of. They all started sending me lots of different cars to drive, which was great. But of course, I couldn't repeat the advertising, so I had nowhere to put the stories. So I felt like I was back to square one. So I went down the road to the local paper and asked them if they would run my stories for free. And they said yes. So I went in there every week with some new stories and started chatting to the management and the advertising people and got to know them pretty well, and started helping them with sort of planning features and supplements and things like that. At the same time, I started freelancing. I was looking for niches that no one else was covering. And at that time, rallying was very big. If anyone remembers rallying at the end of the 80s and the early 90s, it was wild. I decided I would be a rally reporter. So there was a magazine called Fast Lane at the time, if anybody remembers that. And I started writing rally stories for them. At the same time, I became quite well known as a travel motoring writer. I used to borrow Range Rovers and go to different parts of the world. So the first trip I did was to Iceland, and I drove we put a Range Rover right on top of one of the glaciers. And then the next year, we decided we would celebrate the 50th anniversary of Land Rover by taking one of the original Land Rovers off the line, made in 1947, together with a brand new Range Rover, so 50 years apart back then, to Russia and back. I don't know why I picked Russia. I think I'd always wanted to go there. I was curious. So we drove these 2 vehicles to up across the Arctic Circle into what was then Leningrad, down into Moscow, down to Odessa on the Black Sea, and then back through Eastern Europe, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, up through what was then Yugoslavia, and back through Europe. It took me 7 weeks. On the back of that, I was invited to go the next year and drive a Range Rover over the Rockies in Colorado. It was the first trip across the Rockies not using paved roads for 2 weeks, which was fantastic. But I couldn't make a living doing all of these things, so I went back to see if I could make the regional press thing work a bit more. So I started getting more and more regional press titles wanting to kind of take my articles, because they came with a bit of expertise. I would send them the articles, but also send them lots of tips on how to sell advertising and organize their supplements and features. And it became to a point where within about by the year 2000, I was dealing with about 70% of all the regional papers in the UK. I was their motoring correspondent. At about 2007, 2008, I could see that regional press was going to die at some point, and I needed to be online. And online, I could see even then meant video. So my first thought was that I was going to buy some video road tests off the shelf. I thought there must be someone producing them, but there wasn't. There was kind of Top Gear, which was a kind of lads mag, and well, pretty much nothing else. And there was nothing out there for you guys who want a kind of more detailed, in-depth review of a particular car or vehicle. So I decided I would do my own. So we started filming in 2000. I think it was 2009. I remember the very first day we filmed 10 cars in one day. We went to an industry event. It was exhausting, but I had to build the library very quickly. And I've been filming ever since. We now have a library. We're just about to crest the 2,000 films mark, which is by far the biggest independent road test library in the world. In 2020, my daughter Ellie helped me to launch our YouTube channel, which is what you're watching now. And in early 2025, we launched the Car and Driving app. So that's really my story. So I've got some questions here. I've got Channel Christian 998 asks me, what exciting project are you working on? Well, I've got a system on our website called Auto Expert, which in 3 clicks aims to take you from knowing nothing to knowing everything about a particular vehicle without any expert knowledge. So we're going to be launching that at some point next year. We're also going to be adding new features into the Car and Driving app. By the way, if you haven't signed up to be a member, a Car and Driving member, do give that some thought, because it means that you get priority access to all our latest videos. There's also a second tier of VIP membership, which means that you get to see our filming calendar, you get to come on filming days, all kinds of things. Just message us if you'd like to know more information. Let me also tell you that in the video description box, just under the video player, you'll find details of our new merchandise, t-shirts and all kinds of stuff. So click and have a look at that. And there's also details in the description box of the Lease Loco deal. We're partnership with them for lease deals, and you get a 25% Amazon voucher if you click and go through with one of their deals. So yeah, have you merch? David H 1984 H4L asked me. I think I've answered that. So it's been great sharing my story with you. Please keep your comments coming. We love to hear from you. We love to hear what you think about our films. It makes so much difference getting feedback from people like you who love the channel. So I'll look forward to talking to you next time. What do I like to do in my spare time? Just before I finish, I'll answer that one. When I'm not driving cars. Gosh, what do I like to do in my spare time? I watch Formula One, like probably a lot of you do. I've been watching it for nearly 50 years. I like playing snooker, and I like hanging out with my family. But driving cars and writing about cars does really take up an awful lot of my time. So it's fortunate that that's what I've always wanted to do. All right, guys, it's been great to chat with you. Look forward to seeing you next time.